Hey guys, Czar here. Hope all is well. Trust you're having a good morning so far. It is Tuesday, Jan 14th. We're about 2 minutes away from the open. Here's the daily frame, guys. Three sisters, NASDAQ, S&P, and Dow. As you can see, we had a big turnaround yesterday and overnight here. Big bottoming wick on this daily candle. And now we've broken into a new high. In other words, we broke yesterday's high here overnight in the Asian and the UK session on the NASDAQ and the S&P and the Dow. So we have 3 up days here across the board and bullish bodies for now. This morning, if you watched the news here, 8:30 a.m., a huge news spike on the PPI month over month. Came in a little softer than expected. Inflation, I think it was 0.2 versus 0.3 expectations, and the market just rallied huge. That one candle, I believe, was about 172 points or so on the NASDAQ, and the equivalent here on the S&P, of course, as well. Almost identical chart configurations. We have now pulled all the way back and really equalized a little bit around VWAP and firming up here coming into the open in about 30 seconds here to the New York Open. This is my trading grid, guys. There's that daily up day marginal bullish body for now. Of course, we are in a weak period here, guys. Impulse down, corrective up, impulse, corrective impulse. Series of lower lows and lower highs, as you can see here on the daily. So that needs to be taken into consideration. This here, guys, is the UK London Open. I left it on here because we're basically trading back to it again, having gone above in London, gone below in London, spiked above in the pre-market of New York, and then that's the pre-New York, I should say, and then now on the open, back to the open of the UK session. This is on the New York Open, of course. I hope I'm not confusing you too much here. You can see that the 1 minute open range, which has begun, is straddling the UK open range. So we are certainly agreeing with what the London participants were feeling in terms of where this market should be trading at the open. The 30-minute zones, guys, here we are. There's the Asian session, very narrow Asian, expanding a little bit here. We get that expanding range in the UK, and usually an explosive range in New York. You can see it here, kind of narrow range, an expanding range, and an explosive range. That was yesterday. Let's go back here to Friday. Narrow range, expanding range, and explosive volatility here in the New York area. So this is what typically happens almost every day. Not every day, but most days certainly. Let's get back to the 1 minute open range. You can see we are inside of that now. This is the two sisters again. There it is, just loaded up. And again, we are still inside of that 1 minute open range at VWAP, very much in balance here after that spike on the news. I'm going to put you on pause, guys, and I'll bring you back, and we'll see how things develop here, dropping down a little bit as we speak. I'm not doing anything here on the open, guys, but what I will do is remove the London Open now. Just keep it in your mind, if you can, that it was in the middle of basically in line with the open range of New York. And we're back above VWAP and both EMAs here into the open range on both the NASDAQ and the S&P. Nothing for me to do, just going to hang out here. All right, guys, so as long as we are inside of this wick here from the news at 8:30, I'm not touching this. As long as we're inside of this range here, below this zone, and this whole area of rejection, very strong rejection that went back to Friday, of course, of last week. So nothing for me to do here. The daily, of course, is an up day. It is a bullish body, but behaving a little tentatively right now, especially inside of this range. There are a lot of participants who joined the spike here on the news, guys, that 172 point candle, very big candle here, and they're going to be deciding what to do here as prices approach this area right up here. And there might be some rebalancing, some rejigging, some getting out, some rethinking what they did, whether they are participating from down here or from anywhere inside of this thing, and certainly up here as prices sold down. If we get back to that area, some of those participants want to get out and or reconsider their positions on this. It can be tempting on an update just to buy this thing, and that could absolutely go hard. But for me, it's not an optimal coin toss. It's reasonable, that's for sure, but doesn't check all the boxes for me. Something extreme happened just recently here on this candle, right? And that needs to be taken into consideration, the minds and the psychology of these participants. All right, guys, just watching prices try to push up here above this zone, above this big news wick, struggling a little bit here. And I'm certainly not going to be doing anything here as long as we're inside of this stuff that we see here, especially that big wick. All right, guys, we're breaking down below. We are flipping back on the daily into the bearish range of yesterday. Just doing some measuring here, guys, very quickly. Yeah, sell stop order, guys, sell stop order. It's 9:56 a.m. Stop above the shift candle that broke down below and closed with a new low for the day. That's the New York day, of course. Sell stop order, guys. All right, guys, now that this daily is flipping bearish again and inside of yesterday's range, we have a bearish body. This is a failing rally attempt so far into new highs, right? And that can be a very bearish sign. Here we go. And I'm in, guys. I am in. Short the NASDAQ. I'm actually going to make this zone much smaller, just so you understand it. It's a minor zone, relatively minor zone. It only happened before the news spike, right? There is nothing over here in the New York session to stop prices from going lower if we can successfully break through that area. So why am I short here, guys? Well, when we expect prices to go higher on a bullish endeavor and then it fails, especially after this big news spike, that's a very bearish sign, at least in the interim, right, in the short term. And that's all we're looking at here. This is a day trade. Below open range, 9 below 21, negative moving average configuration, EMAs dropping, very bearish body on the 30-minute chart, heading towards the bottom of a minor zone here on the 30. No support here in the target range in the New York zone, and that's important. All right, guys, so some very significant buying coming in here. This looks like it might be ending in a 1R chart here this morning after being so very patient. In which case, we'll just take that in stride and move on to the next transaction in the business practice. And there it is, guys, a 1R chart to start the day here on this Tuesday, Jan 14th. Just a routine business expense. We'll take that and move on. This thing could drive down here from now, in which case that'll be frustrating, but it's all part of the game. Thanks for being here, guys. Appreciate you. Have an amazing day. We'll talk soon.